Iconic shot of the far-turned camera here at the Big A, high above the half-mile pole. We're closer to the finish line. In fact, a few stories up from the paddock here at the Big A's. We are off and running on this Saturday edition of Aqueduct Insider. Hope you're doing okay. Good to have your company, as always, right here on MSG+. Maggie Wolfendale, Jason Blewitt. A big Saturday, a big weekend. Place was buzzing before the first race, and we had 9, including a big pick 6 carryover.
Yeah, we had a great crowd on hand here at the Big A, but racing was huge all over, whether it be Kentucky, whether it be Arkansas. I mean, we're only 3 weeks away from the Kentucky Derby, and the action just keeps coming.
And the weekend really began yesterday with a couple Grade 1s throughout the country. We saw the maker's mark on last night's edition of Aqueduct Insider, but what about Beholder, who got back to the races in style? Her 5-year-old debut, first start since late September, a walk in the park in the Santa Lucia.
Yeah, it really was, as it should be, but she did it in the right kind of way here, Jay. Coming off of a layoff, you really got to commend the job that Richard Mandela has done with this mare. I mean, she's a 2-time champion, and I mean, look at her striding away. As soon as Gary Stevens hit the go button, she accelerated, and there's big things to come for her. Including
the Vanity on May 9th out in Southern California, and another trip to Belmont Park, Belmont Stakes Day in the $1 Million Ogden Phipps. Great to have Beholder back, and we look forward to seeing her down the road as her season progresses. And might there be a chance she meets up with Untappable in the $1 Million Phipps on Belmont Stakes Day? You've got Untappable, last year's 3-year-old filly champion. We've started out with 2 Eclipse Award winners on this show, and Untappable, a walk in the park yesterday, making her second start of her 4-year-old season, a winning one.
Yeah, that's right here, Jay. And she got a little more of a better setup. She wasn't, you know, kind of having to rate back off of a very slow pace. This time she got a more legitimate pace, and she didn't fight Johnny too much. She got to sit 4 wide. That's where this filly loves to be, and she strided away. She looked good in the final stages of this Apple Blossom, and we were kind of, you know, guessing where she might go next. It might be the La Troyenne on Kentucky Derby Day, and as you were alluding to, a matchup between these two, filly and mare, on Ogden Phipps on Belmont Day would be spectacular.
And that'd be the second consecutive year you had the top mares in the country meet, considering you had Princess of Silmar, Close Hatches, and Beholder in front of 100,000 plus on last year's Belmont Stakes Day. And keep in mind, BelmontStakes.com, those clubhouse and grandstand seats are still available for sale. We move on to the action, but we stay with horses by Tappet. He commands 300,000. He is the West's, at least this side of the world, the leading sire, and he has got a good one in race day, who never had an anxious moment taking the Oak Lawn Park handicap.
Boy, Todd Pletcher's really done a great job with this 4-year-old colt. It took a while to get his career going, but he's just posted triple-digit fire figures, at least in his last 3, and you got to think with this kind of performance, he set some quick fractions once again. He's in the 3-digit territory here. He's really been good, and I think he's sitting atop our older handicap division right now.
Can't argue with that. Well, you do have shared belief in California Chrome, but he's pretty good.
He's third.
And he may be the best handicap horse in Todd Pletcher's barn.
Right.
He's also got Constitution, and we wait with bated breath whether Palace Malice comes back. Maybe the Westchester, Breeze today. Maybe the Westchester Kentucky Derby Day at Belmont Park. We will be seeing a lot of Trader Chad Brown and his many turf horses throughout the spring-summer meet at Belmont Park as we get you up to speed with the Grade 1 Jenny Wiley. 3 wide, green cap, surprise, surprise. It's Chad Brown, Javier Castellano, another Grade 1 victory on the turf. This one with ball dancing in her second start of the year.
Yeah, in her 4th start here in the States. She was pretty nice going over to her French form, and she just had narrow losses in her last 2 in the Hillsborough and the QE3 Cup, and this was a great performance, I thought, Jay. You know, it almost felt as though at the quarter pole she might kind of throw in the towel a bit, and Falimbi might be able to run her down, but Javier gave her a few taps, and she accelerated from this field.
$700,000 Grade 1 Longines, just a game, just a thought. In fact, another race, another Grade 1, in fact, on that Belmont Stakes Day June 6 card might be the next spot we see ball dancing in. She is a good one, and she's been very solid since coming to this country, as you noted. And in the Lexington, we cannot end Saturday's headlines without yet another stakes winner by Tappet, and he has got the 2015 winner of the Lexington, a horse owned by the Jacksons in Divining Rod, who certainly flatters Carpe Diem.
Even out of Acadianus, a mare on the bottom side, and he, as you said, really flattered Carpe Diem with this performance. He's circling the field and going away. I love the stride on this horse in the latter stages of the race. Unfortunately, he does only get 10 points towards the Kentucky Derby, a point system here, so he's kind of sitting on the bubble. I think you said he was about 26th as far as standings are concerned, so he's going to need a lot of defections, but maybe this is a horse that's coming around. Maybe we'll see him in the Preakness, and he could be effective there.
Yeah, strikes me as a horse who's getting better for trainer Arnaud Delacour, and he's got this one for the Jacksons. Divining Rod with Julien Leparoux. Well, Fillies and Mares took the spotlight on this Saturday card, the third and final Saturday of the spring meet at the Big A. It was the center attraction in today's big double pick six carryover, and let's see what happened as we send it up to Larry Colmus from the gate.
Cornelio Velasquez opening up early to lead by a length and a half in the race to the first turn. And then on the inside, it's Ambulé away running in second, and now she's going to come up the rail and come up on the inside of Chez Jolie, and now they're right together on the lead. A length and a half to Before You Know It, and House Rules settles into stride fourth early on the rail as they head to the backstretch, 5 lengths ahead of Agawa, then JC's American Dream, Joint Return, and Holiday's Jeweler at the back after a 24-3 opening quarter mile. So they race on to the backstretch, and it's Ambulé and Chez Jolie. These two, they're half length apart as they continue their run up the backstretch. Before You Know It's outside of House Rules, who is racing on the rail and just 2 lengths off the lead halfway up the backstretch. And then it's a gap of another 3 lengths more back to Agawa, JC's American Dream, Joint Return, and Holiday's Jewel, a 48-3 half mile. A half mile remains, and Ambulé is the leader by a neck. Chez Jolie on the outside is second. Before You Know It, just outside the leaders, while House Rules waits for running room, fourth on the inside, still traveling well enough. JC's American Dream's got 4 lengths to make up and is beginning to make progress on the far turn, and then comes Agawa. It is Before You Know It on the outside of Chez Jolie, and now these two will turn for home together. Junior Alvarado asking more from House Rules, and she's third at the top of the stretch. It is Before You Know It on top, and on the inside, Chez Jolie. House Rules trying to come and get them. Before You Know It, Chez Jolie. House Rules continues to bear down. Chez Jolie's on the rail. House Rules drifting to the far outside. Before You Know It, between those two, the 3 of them come to the line of the top flight, and House Rules got it just in time. Over Before You Know It, Chez Jolie was third.
A long time. Good thing Junior Alvarado sat the pocket pretty much around both turns. House Rules, the victory in doubt at this point, but her class came through, and she is up in a nick of time at 2-5 to take the top flight.
Yeah, and she needed every bit of that 9 furlongs, something I doubted in her, but maybe the longer the better for this filly, who did run down 2 fillies and mares that, you know, had things their own way. We're setting that kind of moderate pace, and went kind of 1-2 around the racetrack. I thought good efforts by them, but House Rules just proved too good.
4-year-old filly by Distorted Humor. She's been a gem of consistency. Now 6 for 16 in her career with 4 runner-up finishes. Junior Alvarado continues to ride very smartly and picking up stakes wins, it seems, as the weeks pass. Won a race last Saturday at Keeneland, the Honey Fox 2 weeks ago at Gulfstream Park. And for Jimmy Jerkins, this seems like one of his times of the year where his Florida shippers come back to New York and just fire like gangbusters.
Exactly. You know what? I called up with Jimmy after the race, and he said, you know, because this filly is 3 for 4, was the fact that they got her down to Florida, and she just blossomed this year. Spending the winter down there, she turned into a quote-unquote beast, as he said. And they also kind of figured out how to ride her, and that she couldn't be on the lead, but she has to be involved. And really, we saw that on display with Junior Alvarado's excellent ride. And I also got to talk to him a bit about his 3 nice horses, other nice horses, Wicked Strong, Possible Excelsior, VE Day, overnight turf stake here, and we might see Classic Point for the distaff.
So stakes lined up over the next few Saturdays. In fact, only 2 remain, and Jimmy Jerkins may be a prime contender in both of them. That does it for the first segment. We've got multi-race bets with big money and big fields fitting of a Big A Saturday in April, and a lot more coming your way. It all begins a new chapter at the Taj Mahal of North American racing. Beautiful Belmont Park on Wednesday, April 29th. We've already talked about some potential matchups and horses running on that Belmont Stakes Day card Saturday, June 6th. Ball dancing, Beholder, Untappable, and looking forward to getting over to the Palace.
That I am for sure. I share that same sentiment with you, Jay. And, you know, Belmont's such a great meet to begin with. We'll also have a good thing going on for Derby Day, a long day out at Belmont Park. But Belmont Stakes weekend is really going to be quite the attraction.
BelmontStakes.com, the new look NYRA.com. Check it out, NYRAWards.com. We are on the internet in 2015 here at the New York Racing Association. 220,000 plus in new money. That was the total going in, at least regarding fresh money, into Saturday's double carryover pick 6. We've got a big field of 3-and-up maidens, and we go back to the man upstairs, Larry C.
Comes out running well from the inside. Ackerman Road also with early speed. These two had the best beginnings. Then Arbitrator, Lone Trader, Pisca to the outside, and Chase the Love running in between horses out of the chute. Then Tis for Daddy down toward the rail. Frenchman Bay is after that. Tis a Fleet on the far outside. Good pick, Nick. Tis time to shake. And the trailer is Summit Moon as they head up the backstretch. 22. And for the first quarter as Ackerman Road speeds right along in front. Pisca to the outside second. Chase the Love third between those two. Then Performance Bonus on the outside. Arbitrator behind them. Lone Trader dropping off 4 lengths from the pace. And then on the far outside getting going now is Tis a Fleet. And then comes Good Picnic, who's next on the outside of Frenchman Bay. And then Tis for Daddy, Tis time to shake. And still at the back of the pack is Summit Moon. They went 46 and 1 for a half mile around the far turn. Ackerman Road by a neck. Pisca second. Arbitrator third just outside of them. Tis a Fleet is closing on the far outside, and now there's 4 across the track. Performance Bonus is behind them in 5th. On the far outside, Good Picnic gets going too. In between horses, Lone Trader. They're at the top of the stretch, and it is Arbitrator in front. Arbitrator, and here comes Good Picnic on the far outside, and Good Picnic has taken the lead outside of Arbitrator. These two well clear of the others. Good Picnic and Fernando Jara moving away in the end to beat Arbitrator. Frenchman Bay was third, Lone Trader fourth.
In a race with a lukewarm 7-2, 4-1 favorite, it really didn't turn out to be that close. Arbitrator in the green runs second, a good second at that, but Good Picnic, finally a good pick today after losing at even money and twice at 4-5.
You got to think that Karen might have been setting everybody up and running this horse at Tampa and finishing second, as you were just saying, both times. You know, I actually, going back and watching the replay, I kind of appreciated the effort by this horse because he kind of got steadied back there, went to make a move, got checked, moved outside, and really made this like 5-wide sustained run. So a good effort for, once again, a son of Tappan.
Right, they paid up for this horse and a mere maiden win today, $625,000 for Stone Street Stables, but Tappan gets another maiden winner in a horse I doubt we've seen the best of. And I do think win, lose, or draw, whether you cashed or not on today's 4th race, put a big circle around it because 100%. It will be a live race going down the road. For us, down the road is the second leg in the guaranteed late pick 4, race number 7. Larry C. once again from the gate on the main.
They're off. Not the best of starts for Copernicus. It's Swell who goes out to take the lead. Alongside is Shore to Party. Gypsum Johnny is away running in third. And then it's Pete's Fleet. Copernicus on the inside now moves up, takes fourth, and is just in behind the leading trio after not the best of starts. Then Sidearm, Shinnecock Bay to the outside. Thanks to my uncle at the back of the field with How About We as they move for the far turn. And the opening quarter mile goes in 22 and 4/5 seconds. It is Swell on the inside, Shore to Party on the outside. Gypsum Johnny is there just outside the top 2. Then comes Pete's Fleet. Copernicus pinned in toward the rail. Shinnecock Bay is next. Sidearms got run in behind horses. Sidearms got 3 lengths to make up as they come toward the top of the stretch. And as they turn for home, it's wide open. Shore to Party. Gypsum Johnny to the outside. Swell down toward the rail. Pete's Fleet comes up and after them. Behind horses, Sidearm. Shinnecock Bay on the far outside. Copernicus is there. And from far behind, thanks to my uncle, is gaining ground too. Into the final 16th. Gypsum Johnny, Pete's Fleet. These two coming down to the line. Gypsum Johnny over Pete's Fleet. Sidearm was third, and then thanks to my uncle.
3-year-old stepping up, beating older horses. Gypsum Johnny off the claim for Gary Contessa. Pretty sharp, defeating a pretty good field.
And he's really in sharp form right now. He records his 3rd win in a row here for his 3rd connections in a row. So he's good. And, you know, these 3-year-old, these New York Bred Allowance races, they come up tough and they come up interesting. Disappointing efforts from the 2 horses I like, Swell and Sure to Party. But Gypsum Johnny, he had all the goods today.
Swell may be a horse you'll want to take a look at. Second off the layoff. He hadn't run in a little over 200 days. In fact, it was 205 days from last September. He was well behaved because he's had a reputation of being a horrible actor. Pre-race, he looked good, though?
Yeah, he did. He behaved himself very well. I mean, going back to Belmont, I think that he was finally going to try the turf, which I've been waiting for this horse to do. And he reared up and tried to flip over and hit his head. Then they immediately gelded him. But the behavior issues still kept on, and so I think the break and time away from the racetrack really helped him out mentally.
Maybe a horse derby week at Belmont Park, second off the bench for Peter Pugh. We move on to a few other highlights on today's program. A lot of Larry Comas coming your way 3 weeks out from his derby call on NBC. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 9 as we see the other pieces in today's Pick 6.
To the outside, John Silver. They've been 1-2 throughout. Lane Allen, John Silver. And then to the outside comes Awesome Loot in 3rd, trying to close the gap now. John Silver's in front. Awesome Loot is coming. Lane Allen is back to 3rd. John Silver and Awesome Loot. John Silver's got it. John Silver and Junior Alvarado to beat Awesome Loot. And Blue Chips only gets up for 3rd over Lane Allen. Comes up on the outside of Can't Catch Me Now, and Gansett Bay cuts the corner in 4th. They're into the stretch. Every Dog Has His Day. Down to the 8th pole, a 3-length lead on Von Frossen, Gansett Bay, and Can't Catch Me Now. It is Every Dog Has His Day. In front, coming to the final 16th. Gansett Bay on the inside, closing in. Can't Catch Me Now 3rd. Every Dog Has His Day. Gansett Bay. These 2 down to the line. Every Dog Has His Day. And it was today. Gansett Bay was 2nd, and then it was Can't for the stretch. And Shot to Win's coming up the fence. Lucky's Dream continues to drift out. Cornelio Velasquez trying to straighten out Lucky's Dream here. On the inside, Shot to Win. It's a long way back to the rest. A short victory is 3rd, then Velastic. It is Lucky's Dream still drifting out. Shot to Win still has one. Lucky's Dream, Shot to Win. Shot to Win, Lucky's Dream. These 2... Oh, that's close. Maybe Shot to Win. Lucky's Dream coming to the top of the stretch. Groupthink taken on at the top of the stretch by Huge Asset. These 2 come to the final furlong together. Groupthink on the inside, Huge Asset on the outside. Native Hero 2 lengths behind them. It's Groupthink on the rail. Huge Asset, Native Hero coming up on their outside with every stride. And here's Native Hero coming up alongside of Groupthink. And Native Hero beats him. Groupthink was 2nd, Huge Asset 3rd. And it is Ground Force, Jeter on the outside. These 2 turn for home. Mr. Masterpiece closing in the center of the track. Call for the Clock is there too. And on the inside comes Bug Juice, who's coming up the rail. Ground Force in front. Jeter to the outside. Bug Juice down toward the rail. Mr. Masterpiece and Call for the Clock, but it's Ground Force. Ground Force and Junior Alvarado go on to win by 2. And then it was Jeter, Bug Juice, and cutting the corner is JC Shooting Star, and they're into the stretch. And it's Tricky Zippy. Tricky Zippy, the leader by 2. Moondance Joy, JC Shooting Star. 2nd, and now setting sail for Tricky Zippy. Tricky Zippy, JC Shooting Star to the outside. These 2 to the final 16th. And Tricky Zippy's holding on to the lead. Tricky Zippy and JC Shooting Star. Tricky Zippy and Jeremy Rose to win. JC Shooting Star was 2nd. Fredak was 3rd. Paradise Peak was 4th.
No triple carryover into Sunday's card. We didn't see any $30, $40, and $50 horses in today's Pick 6. It wasn't easy. There were some good-sized fields, but House Rules did take the stake. And, of course, Tricky Zippy came back in the nightcap as the favorite for Carlos Martin. And Jeremy Rose in the Pick 6 wound up paying a little over $3,500 as we take out our trusty pair of binoculars and take a second look at today's card. of Saturday's guaranteed late pick 4. How about one of the old pros, the 7-year-old son of Bowman's band, Ground Force, as Junior Alvarado gets the second of his 3 wins on the card.
Hey, Jay, he's riding lights out right now. As far as like a win percentage for a rider, he's probably one of the highest up there. And 2, he is a hard worker. I mean, I'm out there pretty much every morning. So is he. I mean, he works a lot of horses for John Kimmel, Bill Mott, so on and so forth. So I think that work ethic that Junior possesses really pays off in the afternoon as well, because he knows these horses, he gets on them for good connections, and they're very loyal.
And we check out Junior Alvarado as we were also reminded of the legendary H. Alwyn Jerkins today with House Rules, and even the sire of Ground Force and Bowman's band, who I remember the Chief trained for a good chunk of his career, including a win in the Meadowlands Cup. Chief got some good races out of him. So thinking of the Chief as we get on to Junior Alvarado in the standings here on a Saturday card, in fact, in which Jose Ortiz came back. I don't think he won a race today, but he was back off a 3-day suspension.
Yeah, not much changing necessarily in those jockey standings, but you know, there's still a lot of time left. There's 2 weeks left in our Aqueduct,
right?
So things can change. But Angel Cruz, he was out in Arkansas today. We'll see coming up shortly, 16 minutes to post, to the Arkansas Derby if he can get the job done with a long shot.
All right, trainer standings on the afternoon. Again, as Maggie said, 2 weeks remain, 11 full cards at the Big A before we pack up shop and head 8 miles east on the Bell Parkway. David Jacobson leading all trainers. Did win with the likable old pro in Lucky's Dream, who was odds on in race number 3. Linda Rice has 4. And how about the white-hot streak Kieran McLaughlin has been on?
Not only here in New York, Jay, but in Kentucky, too. His horses are running so well right now. I mean, he takes down our big ones here at the Big A. He's, what, almost near 50% thus far for the meet?
10 for 17 in April thus far. A number, however, as good as that is, not as high as your dad's milestone earlier today down in Maryland.
Thanks for getting that in there. Yes, he hit 1,500 wins with Miner's Quest today, and one for one of his good friends in Russell Gorley. So it was a really joyous occasion. I wish I was down there. I was getting all kinds of texts and pictures, my dad holding the big sign. So it was a feel-good day.
I'll tell him next time I see him, you watched the race on TV and you nearly gave me a heart attack because you were rooting so loud. We move on to the claims. We've got 3, including Lucky's Dream. He was having his claiming price cut from 20 to 10. A non-shake on Lucky's Dream, but Bruce Brown has got that old warrior in a new barn.
Well, that's good. Bruce does a good job with these older type horses. 3-way shake on blue chips only. That one goes to David Smith, and Gary Contessa picks up another one. Awesome loot in the first.
We have got some turf coming up on Wednesday. Look at that. That's the iconic shot from the clubhouse turn. A Sunday preview with 9 and a first race post of 120. Three weeks out from Derby Day, Saturday, May 2nd at beautiful Belmont Park. An early first post on a special day of racing, 12 noon. You gotta love that communal feeling like no Triple Crown Day brings at Belmont Park. Live racing music, bourbon tasting, barbecue, and more, including 3 steaks, and we might see Powis Mowis in the Westchester. Let's get on to our preview for the Sunday card, beginning with race number 5. We just mentioned Bruce Brown with Lucky's Dream, and he runs 2, Maggie, in this 6-horse field.
Yes, looking at Lakeside Sunset, her win in her second career start. She took money in both, it must be said. So the hopes were high for this filly, and I like her. I mean, she's shown speed, and I think she could possibly rate off of it. Somebody wants to go on a suicide mission, but I think this filly has a bright, bright future. And
some flattery from Tricky Zippy, who defeated, or who Lakeside Sunset defeated last time out. As we talk of bourbon and we think of Derby Day, well, how about Bourbon State of Mind with Eddie Keneally? A good effort on the inner track.
Yeah, it might be a hunch bet for you, for whoever likes bourbon,
Not
that's
me.
for sure. A good ride. A good ride here. Unfortunately, just got nailed at the wire, had the ground-saving trip. To me, she just doesn't feel as good or as talented quite as Lakeside Sunset. 2
decent 2-year-old fillies capped the field on the outside. Nona Joe for Neil Teresiano, and her rival from 2014, My Four Chicks, who has not run since the Maid of the Mist. She was good upstate at Saratoga, defeating Nona Joe in the Seeking the Ante. My question to you is, do you worry that My Four Chicks and/or Nona Joe were sort of precocious early bloomers?
Yeah, I do. I mean, because their recent form, or at least going back to My Four Chicks, 2 races that she had more towards the fall. They were bad. They were really bad, Jay. She has run with the best horses, I think. You know, her form as far as company lines go is pretty good, but maybe she needed that time off. Maybe she needed to mature a bit. Obviously, eyes will be glued on her in the paddock. We'll see what Rick Schosberg brings her back and what kind of condition she's in.
From the outside post, race number 5. A bit later, race number 8, more New York breds, fillies and mares. In fact, in the state bred 2 other than 40K optional claimer, Easy Living for Kieran McLaughlin, who seems to be on a run where everything's coming easy, comes off a trainer change and a layoff. He's got big numbers, and I think she's going to run a big one tomorrow.
You said it, Jay. I mean, his numbers are sick with trainer changes, but he is getting it from Christoph. Come on. So I mean, it's pretty lateral as far as that trainer change is concerned. But this filly has speed. But, Jay, there's a lot of other speed signed on here. She's going to have to go from the rail. And
she's got Cornelio from that inside post, and she's got a decent 3-year-old now. Cornelio is more comfortable stalking and coming from behind, an elder statesman and a guy that has put up quite a few big, lofty numbers at Aqueduct. Fernando Har, who had a decent Saturday, winning 2 races in back-to-back fashion, gets aboard for Linda Rice on the 2. Hot City Girl, who's the half the La Verdad at NF's Destiny.
Exactly. Her bloodlines are pretty nice, and she's run well. I mean, her last 2 efforts came in open stakes races down at Laurel, where she faced some stiff competition. She's back in with New York breds, not a stake race. She's just another one, though, that has speed, but she is posted better.
Well, how about a Paddock Insider play for tomorrow? We covered race 5. We covered race number 8. We want something for the pick 5 or early pick 4. Get us to race number 2.
Yeah, once again, I'm going with a maiden special weight field. This one for the New York breds. We're going the mile distance, and a second-time starter on the outside, who Eric does have morning lined as a 2-to-1 favorite, though. You know, his numbers are pretty comparable to the Todd Pletcher horse. Thought that one may just take a little more money because it's Todd Pletcher, but I like Elusive Talmo stretching out. I thought he ran well before tiring. If he can kind of rate that speed a little bit that he showed in his debut, he's a horse that physically impressed me, and I thought he'd want more ground, so he gets it in this 1-turn mile tomorrow.
From the outside post, he's got the right post. A good trainer who I'm sure is happy. The New York Rangers won the President's Trophy, beat the Capitals today. I'm sorry, Miss Maryland. The Caps went down, and that'll do it for this Saturday edition of Aqueduct Insider. We say congratulations to Jimmy Jerkins. White hot. Junior gives that trophy a kiss, and we'll see you tomorrow with the first race post here at the Big A of 120.